Yeah, I mean, I do think that's not exclusive to gaming. You can certainly tell that there are like other forms of media where someone who wasn't in the creative process or someone who was just in charge of it was like, we gotta hit this deadline, and then they pushed it out before they push a movie out before it's done, before it's fully baked, or they push a TV series out when it's like it would have really benefited from, you know, another 6 months or another year or something, and it could have been really good, and instead it's this. But I feel like the thing with video games is it is not the entire representative of the entire community, but especially games like Mind's Eye where their marketing strategy involves streamers. The community is much more like interactive around it, right? If you go and you see a movie that turns out to be shit because it was rushed out, and you'll talk to your friends, you might talk to people, you know, like if you're work people, you'll talk to them about it, but you're not like interacting with thousands of people live while you're watching the movie and being like, oh my god guys, this is so terrible. But like when they paid streamers to play their game, and then apparently the Co-Carnage incident was only one of several where they literally, while people were streaming, tried to cut them off and were like, stop broadcasting, just to try and stop them from sharing their negative impression of the game, because like they were streaming the game sponsored segment and then it was breaking, or I don't know the details, but like when you make that your marketing strategy, everyone gets to talk about in real time how shitty your thing is. It generates all these hilarious clips of streamers who are like, well, I don't know if I'd recommend buying this, but this is sponsored by Mind's Eye. It's like it's crazy to do the first part where you rush it out, and then do the second part where you're like, and make sure everyone talks about it a bunch. That's a terrible idea.
As of 9 hours ago, it looks like they announced layoffs.
No! God, that's not what they should do!
I bet they definitely laid off the people at the top who caused this, and not at all only the people who were making the game, who had nothing to do with how it turned out, and were forced to put this unfinished work out into the public.
A formal consultation process that may result in redundancy. They have the worst rated game of the year so far, with a 6 out of 10 on Metacritic and a 38 out of 100.
Because again, they're in movie mindset, is you can make the game better, and gamers do appreciate that.
No Man's Sky.
Cyberpunk, when it released, was a goddamn mess. It's now one of the most successful games, incredibly well rated because it kept working on it. They just kept, you can make it better after that. People don't really want that to be the strategy, but here's a review. Here's a review that someone wrote. This game reeks of mismanagement. Someone has 12 hours into this game. Not a lack of talent by I ignored all the initial reviews and actually enjoyed myself a fair bit, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend it. It runs great on my 5090 and Intel i9 Ultra, but the DLSS and frame gen needed to be active to achieve any kind of solid FPS. Bugs were few and far between, but they were there. Occasionally AI would just freeze, and they're not particularly smart, but they're serviceable. It's pretty. It has issues with draw distance. It reminds me of like a B Studio PS2 action game, linear, not a lot of variety, and the story is kind of forgettable, but it provides a dopamine kick. Like, there's a game in here. There's a game that could be fun if they just spent even a fraction of the amount that they spent developing it. Just like let the team work on it to fix the bugs. Let them fix it and re-release every update as free. Don't make them pay for it again, because I imagine someone like, do that. Don't.
How soon can we release a remastered version of this terrible flop we just shit out?
Oh god, a pre-mastered version.
It's not confusing because I feel like on some level I understand the mindset of the people who end up in charge of things like this. Like, I get what they're thinking, but I just don't understand why they're the ones who end up in charge of these decisions. There are clearly people who know how to take the time that it takes and know how to make good games, and I think that includes probably people on the team that made Mind's Eye. I'm sure a lot of them are great at what they do. Some of them are probably would have been good at leading this and getting a really good game out of the like assets that they have and the team that they have. But not like I know anything firsthand about managing games, but it is crazy even from our perspective. It feels like you can see that is a stupid call, but on the inside, no one is, no one has the authority, and that's part of the problem. But no one ever saves these things. They turn out the same. And layoff season, boys.
Oh, why? Why only so many?
It's layoff season.
Well, because AI
I was like trying to scan stuff and remember. It just flashed me his naturals, his big naturals. I was trying to scroll headlines and remember the gaming news that I had sort of gone over in the last little bit. And all it was like, oh, EA, third wave of layoffs in 2 years. Microsoft planning major layoffs next week. BioWare scaled back after the Dragon Age, whatever it was called. The most recent Dragon Age. There was another one.
Splitgate 2 developer 1047 Games.
Yeah, People Can Fly joins gaming-wide layoffs, industry-wide cost-cutting cancellations. What a rough time.
Games do get shit on a lot, and sometimes deserve it, but it really does suck when you think about the fact there's people behind it that did put their heart and souls, and they're usually the ones that pay the price.
It's shitty that is the case, and it's even worse because pre-doing that, everyone's doing it. That's that. We won't get that press if everyone's doing it, so that's why there are layoffs. But now, especially back in some oh man, we don't save so much money with AI replacing all the actual humans.
That'll fix it.
When AI won't talk back and tell us that our schedules are too aggressive.
They won't ask for your food. Anyway, I'm really trying desperately to find some positive.
Death Stranding 2 will celebrate it comes out in like, it will have been out for a little bit by the time this airs, but it comes out in a couple days for us.
Death Stranding. Is that the one with the babies and the goop and the running around across the terrain and that
Norman Reedus.
that guy? Yeah. Okay, what's his face?
I haven't played the original, because again, I tried to get into Metal Gear Solid, which I believe it's the same developer as Hideo Kojima, I believe. They scratch a very specific itch for a certain type of game. Unfortunately, I am not that type of game, so it's just not my type of game. But I would never.
Molly played it and she got super into the story. I don't know how she felt about the game as a whole. I had to ask her, but she got super into the story and the lore. It was like, even after finishing it, she was all into like the lore and stuff for weeks afterwards, like looking into stuff. So
I imagine it's a perfect game for someone.
a lot of walking, isn't it? Like, a lot of walking. I don't
Death
know.
Stranding, definitely a lot of walking. Yeah.
It's basically a walking simulator, right? Isn't that the whole thing?
Intense walking. Wasn't there a walking? Getting over it. Didn't that guy make a walking game?
They didn't make baby steps, did they?
Oh yes, yeah they did. That is
Okay, baby steps. Yes.
Who's your daddy? That's a different game.
I don't know that was made. Yeah, Bennett Foddy's on there. Baby steps. That just came out recently. It looks funny. It looks weird. It looks like Bennett Foddy had it. But it does look weird. I don't think it was made for it, unless you like getting over it, which, as I recall, or something. You played it. What?
I legitimately have not played much great games. The last one I did was last year.
Yeah, good thing that's done.
Yeah, that came out like last spring, right?
Yeah, for sure. Playing the climbing offshoot of that one. I forget what it's called, but
Oh, I remember that.
it is bad. Blood pressure.
Oh, I get a picture of the game. I can't think of the name of it. You like swing, go up, yeah.
Difficult game.
No, wait. Didn't you play a climbing horror game? What was that called? White Knuckle?
Oh, that was great. White Knuckle. White Knuckle. Oh man, I can't believe I forgot about that. This is one of the few games that I played recently that has the tightest gameplay. It's the actual gameplay, but it makes climbing the most fun of any game that I've ever played. It is. That's all it is. It's just you're climbing, no matter what. It's getting out of this pit while this horrible amalgamation of nightmarish creatures rising below you. That's the thing. But White Knuckle, as far as the gameplay goes, it's awesome. It's fun. It's just plain and simple fun. The environment, the atmosphere, it's the perfect distillation of when a game knows what it's about, really solidifies that funnel down into like its theme, and everything about the theming fits in the world and the story into the gameplay. The entire world is built around verticality and the idea of climbing first out of the ground and up this tower. It's all about that, and it's just really fun. It's difficult, but it's fun. So I love it.
17 precision movement mechanics. I'm reading the description about it. It says the sensors adjust with
That's 17 precision movement.
You know, jump, small jumps, left jump, yoinky geet.
Yoinky geet. That actually is a really good strategy in the game.
Like Wolfenstein graphics, but like better. But like it gives me that feel just looking at the screenshots and stuff.
Yeah, it very much has a retro aesthetic, which is very common in indie games because it's easier to develop. Let's be honest.
People love it though. It's overwhelmingly positive. There's a lot of reviews.
It's just really good. If you look at all the reviews, it's just good. Climbing is satisfying. It's fun. It's at a right price. It's $13. It was on sale when I first got it.
Whoa, it's $12.99.
I know.
Under $13. Wow.
I know I've made controversial statements about game pricing, and people assume that when I said realistically it could be this, that it should be that, is like there are different nuances to these things, but that's a good price for this game. It's made by a small team, but they work really hard at it, and it just works. It works really well, and I love it.
What a positive thing. This might be a positive one, maybe. Wade and Molly might be excited about this one. Blizzard has apparently officially confirmed that in September of 2026, there's going to be a revival of BlizzCon.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've only gone once, but
I mean, you had a funny story about sneaking in past security guards and whatnot, but I know that...
no, that was someone I knew.
Oh, that's right. I think you're past the statute of limitations. Don't worry, buddy. Anyway, I don't really know any specifics about it, but like, if we set aside the current and more recent history accusations about the behaviors in their personal lives, everything about Activision Blizzard that you might know, BlizzCon is a classic. Like are part of the gaming community that I think is in a weird place. I said I was at Boston this year. It's the first one I had been to since I think that E3 2019. I haven't been there since. And apparently it's on a big bounce back, but like obviously the pandemic with the shutdown and everything really put a damper on in-person conventions. But it felt like it was building. PAX felt like people were excited again. The guests who were there who were like attending, it seemed like there was a lot of buzz and excitement. It seemed like it was on a path to like move back towards how PAX used to be, where it was huge and it was always this event. But also conspicuously, there were not many. There were none of the like big names that I was used to seeing at PAX, right? Imagine, you guys have been to plenty of these things. Imagine the floor. The first time you look out at the floor of PAX, there's like a Microsoft booth and a Sony booth. It's a huge convention hall, right? But these booths are like, none of that. The only booth that had like a tall thing on it was the Behemoth booth, which has been a mainstay at PAX for a long time. It's the one where they have the big Behemoth chicken and the like the Castle Crashers guys and the big circular Behemoth sign. All of the other booths were so toned down, it was weird. As a group, we're getting older. I don't know if we're kind of over conventions a little bit, but like, it's an interesting part of the gaming community. Speculate. Should they come back? Should BlizzCon come back? Are they going to come back? Like, where are we?
we went to conventions a lot before. By we, I mean Molly and I went to conventions a lot before she did the year welcome thing. It's been 8 years or so since we've really gone to a convention. And I feel like the industry's changed a lot since then. Things are just done a little bit differently now. But there was something to be said about going to a convention that had, like, I remember going and playing Alien Isolation, like I was playing Alien Isolation the first time, freaking out and screaming at me while everyone else was quietly just playing out the demo, and I got jump scared without a big screen. It was funny. But walking around and seeing like the big cool display of the things, Arc Survival Evolved had a really cool one back in the day. I remember they gave us a little stuffed loop when we went to see Ark Survival Evolved. There was something just awesome about that. I'm not a person who gets super into collecting things, or I don't look into technology and gaming stuff the way you guys do. Like, you guys always bring a lot of stuff to the table. I'm like, oh, I had no idea, because I just don't keep up with that kind of stuff. But as a creator, it was awesome. I'm an attention whore, and getting the fan experience, I really like. I like meeting fans, I like having a safe and good venue for that, where it wasn't like we were just doing a fan meetup out in the middle of the woods somewhere. It's like, okay, this is a place where they've got security, there's people, you know.
I've seen a lot of middle of the woods fan meetups.
No, but it's hard, like, even 10 years ago, it was hard to, like, hey, guys, I'm gonna be at Kings Island. I'm going to Kings Island, and it was cool, but, like, also, it's going to go to a theme park and enjoy the theme park, so it's like, it was different, it was an actual experience where it's like, okay, I'm here to look at games, but also, like, other people are here that are passionate about this, and fans, it was a fun combination of things I enjoy, and I wouldn't mind doing something like that again, maybe, like, once every year or two. I wouldn't ever go back to like 3 or 4 conventions a year. Well, I imagine on the other side of it, for someone who's just really passionate about gaming or meeting content creators or both or whatever have you, those conventions had to have been pretty fucking awesome. Like, they were busy, but getting to go play demos early, especially the indie sections, the indie game sections were really shine for me, because AAA studios, as cool as it was to see their awesome big booths, you kind of got a feel for those things because they could afford to advertise and show things off. A lot of cool indie games, I don't think anyone would have known about if it weren't for the conventions and walking through there and like some of the people that made content being like, oh wow, this looks cool, I'll play this. And then they play it, someone else sees it. That's the way a lot of indie games, I don't know if they probably still have to take off, but how they took off way back then. There's just a lot of cool things like that. Some of the D&D show that always played at like PAX, not Critical Role, it was what was it called? I can picture the bald dude with glasses, but I can't think of the name of it.
Wait.
Anyway, they would do like a show. There were different other panels and things. We did a panel together and whatnot. So there were a lot of cool things I enjoyed and things I'd like to experience again. But I don't think I could ever do it to the amount that I did back then, because it kind of got redundant. If you went to 4 conventions in a year, 90% of what you saw was at each convention. It was the same thing at each one.
I mean, that's what they do. They run what's called the convention circuit so that the exhibitors can reach the most amount of people, assuming that people aren't going to travel outside of their local convention. Unless it's like a mega monolith convention where, you know, a million people are going to be there.
What's the one that's completely gone now that was big back in the day? It was hosted in California.
E3?
Yeah,
That's
E3.
gone.
I only went to that one time. That one was a little bit different. That one
E3 was cool. The one I went to, I spent a lot of time on the Mixer Hype Zone 10. Time to be alive.
Wow, Mixer.
I think people are starting to really, this is not my concept, but I think people are really starting to come around on like, it's nice to do things in person. I think there's a lot of social anxiety still, and a lot, like, I don't really like being in loud, crowded public places. But also, there's just something about being in the same place as other people, all sharing in something that you really enjoy. If it's like a concert, if it's like a festival downtown Cincinnati, or if it's like a PAX or some like a gaming festival thing. I think people are kind of coming out of the funk, the post-pandemic, post-lockdown funk still. And people are kind of people, but also I kind of want to go hang out. I think it's an interesting time if you're like for these conventions, because I guess I'm optimistic. I hope that they continue to rebound. I hope people have a lot of interest, but there's no reason it has to be convention. Maybe everyone's going to lock on to some other thing, and that'll be where they'll go hang out or who knows.
I think it's as good an excuse as any. Because the problem with, you know, the COVID era stuff is you lost out on a couple generations of a lot of things, but you lost out on a couple generations of people showing their friends what it is. And once that chain gets broken because the people that were introduced to conventions were introduced by their friends or their family, so there had to be a first time for everybody, or maybe they found out, but most of the time I believe it was probably an introduction chain, but that chain got broken. So there was a few years where people weren't being introduced to the new experience, so that's a whole couple years of people that they have to catch up on and be like, oh, this is a thing. There are probably people out there listening that have never been to a convention and aren't even really aware of how many occur around them. In your city, there's probably a convention every week for the most random thing. I think we were in Austin one time, and we were so curious for what this table of people there for a convention and what business is this where there's one guy and only one, right? And it seemed like he was the guy, and it was just very familiar. It was a wedding dress. I didn't even know that was a thing, but it's a thing. Look up conventions in your nearby area. It's not all about the
I get married once a year just to wear the new dress. You know, if I had to do it all over again, or even moving forward, if I end up transitioning away from gaming, I think I would do tabletop. It would be like D&D role-play type stuff. Like the Critical Role, though, if I could do something like that 3 or 4 times a week and just have an awesome in-person setup, I think that would be like the end game for me. Like that's what I really enjoy and thrive in, is like role-play stuff. Like when I did GTA role-play, I enjoyed that quite a bit. But even that was like somewhat constrained with what you can do.
I don't know. I seem to remember Demon Elmo getting the posse together and then riding around doing murderous explosion things. Seemed pretty unlimited from my perspective. Wade roleplayed Demon Elmo on the server. I was briefly on that server also roleplaying. And
Yeah, I drove you around. You were trying to join like the legal team or something.
There was a whole experience. Yeah, I was trying to be a lawyer.
Well, my main dude was Norm L. Guy, Norm. But Elmo was like I want to be chaotic. I forgot about playing Elmo.
The good old days of GTA.
Mark's right. Conventions. Check them out. There's probably one about a thing that you care about. Probably closer than you think.
Role-playing conventions are a thing.
There are a lot of tabletop conventions, yeah.
Tabletop people love getting together and doing tabletop stuff.
I'm sure if people look into it, there's a lot of stores. What are the little stores called where you buy like they sell like the Warhammer figurines and tabletop books and all that kind of stuff?
like stores that also have like game session nights and stuff.
Yeah, they also have like game session nights, or even if it's not like a D&D, it's like board game nights and stuff like that. A lot of places have those too. Anyway, kind of got off topic there, but yeah, conventions great, gaming great, but I want D&D all day, every day.
Well, you could.
I mean, yeah, I could, but like, I don't know, a lot of people I play with are all over the fucking place.
Do you want us to officially kick you off this show so you can spend more time doing that? Or